Hey, y'all. All right. I'm sorry, I'm a little late. I'm going to play the timer, wait for everybody to come in. So, more news about Whoopi. I'm just got to make sure if this is playing on my YouTube because I accidentally put this topic discussion on my second channel, and I didn't like that. So, okay, yeah, everybody's gonna. Hey, everybody, how y'all doing? So, more news about Whoopi's coming, y'all. I'm really worried about Whoopi because a lot of people are basically saying that, well, she can leave The View. Her career is not over. She has other projects. Well, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case, possibly because there's a lot of digging that's going on from Whoopi's past. So, the Daily Mail has released out a new source of information that deemed Whoopi Goldberg anti-Semitic back in 1993. And so I want to go over the post by Daily Mail with you guys, so we can all read it and we can all see what's happening. Okay, so here it is, right? Y'all see this? It says Whoopi Goldberg's fake Jewish past. The View's host wrote 1993 recipe for a Jewish American princess fried chicken, then claimed she was a practicing Jew as insiders slammed decades of discussing appropriation and anti-Semitism. All right, so then I'm going to go down to the actual description as opposed to reading the subtitles. This is by Jennifer Smith, who's really been on it as a writer at the Daily Mail. According to the Daily Mail's page, she's a chief reporter. Okay, so Jennifer writes, Whoopi's suspension from The View this week is the pinnacle of a years-long habit of making off-color remarks about Jewish people that includes a recipe she wrote for a celebrity cookbook in the 1990s called Jewish American Princess Fried Chicken. In 1993, Goldberg, whose real name is Karen Johnson, submitted the recipe to Cooking in the Lynchfield Hill, a charity cookbook comprised of recipes from the wheel-heeled residents of the leafy Connecticut suburb. DailyMail.com exclusively attained a copy of the long-forgotten cookbook, where Whoopi's recipe-mocking Jewish American woman glaringly stands out amongst friendlier submissions like legend Diane Sawyer's roasted potato skins with scallion dip. Okay, so basically Diane Sawyer, the journalist, she also contributed to this cookbook. And the late Eartha Kitt's summer zucchini soup with nasturtium blossoms and Oscar de la Renta's fresh pumpkin and crab soup. Former U.S. Senator Joe Lieberman's submission, I believe he's Jewish as well, was for noodle pudding, while fashion designer Diane von Furstenberg submitted sour cream stuffed chicken with News potatoes. Now, all these people are appearing to be Jewish, except for Whoopi, allegedly, but at that time, we're going to get to that. Okay, so Whoopi recipe reads, send chauffeur to your favorite butcher shop for the kitchen. Save the brown paper bag. Have your cook melt equal parts oil and butter 3/4, dip in skillet over moderate heat. Number 2, put flour seasoned with remaining ingredients into brown paper bag. Rinse chicken parts and place in bag. Then you lightly close top of bag. Watch your nails and shake 10 times. And bag to cook. Go dress for dinner. While you dress, have cook preheat oven to 350 degrees and brown chicken slowly in skillet. When evenly brown, have cook place chicken in dish in oven. Have cook prepare rest of meal while you touch up your makeup. In about half an hour, Viola, dinner is served. You must be exhausted. Now, this is the recipe that was submitted in the book. And right here, it has Whoopi's name on it. So that's just the documentation that Daily Mail got, right? Okay, so let me close this out. All right, y'all. So here we go. At the time, the recipe was slammed by none other than the Anti Defamation League, whose current CEO went on The View on Tuesday, the guy, Jonathan Greenblatt, to tell Whoopi why she'd been so offensive earlier this week before she was suspended. They called the recipe insulting and anti-Semitic. It's a lousy recipe with insensitive and anti-Semitic ingredients. Whoopi should know better. She needs some sensitivity training. Unfortunately, the good people who published it need some sensitivity training too. Abraham Foxman, the national director of the ADL at the time, said. So at that time, in the response to the outrage, Whoopi's agent at the time, Brad Kafarley, offered a quick explanation. She is Jewish. So Brad was saying Whoopi is Jewish. Maybe the critics are not aware that Whoopi is Jewish, so she is not certainly anti-Semitic. It was one of many ambiguous statements about her faith. And Whoopi said in 1997, which was 4 years later after the situation happened, she said in an interview with Playbill, "My family is Jewish, Baptist, Buddhist, and Catholic, none of which I subscribe to, by the way, as I don't believe in man-made religion." She said she took the name Goldberg, which is unavoidably Jewish, from a Jewish ancestor. Now, we all know that her mother allegedly told her that she needs to have that last name so she can be Jewish enough to get jobs, allegedly, right? So, y'all, when she was talking about the Holocaust this week, claiming it was not about race, she made no mention of whether or not she belongs to the Jewish faith, nor did she mention it when she was apologizing or in subsequent statements. Subsequent statements. I stand with the Jewish people as they know I always have, she said. She also released a range of holiday sweaters in the past, including one that featured an octopus on the front holding a menorah. Brad Kafarley did not respond to DailyMails.com inquiries about his comments in the 1990s regarding Whoopi's religion. He's no longer Whoopi's agent. TV industry insider says it is high time Whoopi is held accountable, what they describe as a clear pattern of anti-Semitism. This is a clear pattern of anti-Semitism. It wasn't a one-off. Hard to see how ABC News tolerate this and claims they are changing their rich culture with a straight face. Just when you thought Whoopi should send off Jeff Zucker a fruit basket, another ABC grenade hits, one TV veteran told DailyMail.com. Okay, now here comes Meghan McCain's friend. Okay, Noah Tishby, an Israeli activist, writer, and actress, told DailyMail.com that Whoopi's recipe upholds a deeply rooted desire to mock Jewish women and their families for being successful. Now, this is Diane Sawyer's Potato Skins, okay? She also contributed, like I said, to the recipe book, but she's Jewish, if I'm not mistaken. So Whoopi's in deep trouble. All right, let's see. The term Jewish American Princess, or JAP, was created as a microaggression to bash and suppress Jewish upward mobility. That's what it was used for, to mock Jewish women for their family successes. In the world we live in today, in which every minority can scream and complain about microaggressions, we need to be extra careful and acknowledge Jewish microaggressions, which exist everywhere. Now, this is all, I believe, Noah Tishby, who's Meghan McCain's friend. Jewish American Princess is a term that needs to go away and never return. I hope Whoopi has not used it since the 90s, and I sure hope that this is a matter of habit that is outdated and not taken alongside her recent horrific remarks to indicate her belief system. Tishby added that Whoopi's ambiguity on whether or not she's Jewish is confusing. I'm very confused by Whoopi Goldberg's position on her Jewishness. I'm excited to hear her clear that up. She added that anyone else made the remarks that Whoopi did about the Holocaust in reference to a different minority, they'd have been fired on the spot. I disagree on that. If I or anyone else was to, God forbid, say that any other massacre, the Armenian genocide, the Holocaust, or any other, if I was to say that any of these massacres were not based in race, then I would have been fired by the commercial break. People have lost their jobs for way less. Now, this is Meghan McCain's friend. She's still talking. And here's another Meghan. See, like, Meghan McCain's friends are coming out. Supposedly her friends, they are, you know, of course, they're Jewish activists. And I could be just assuming, but part of me kind of feels like by watching Meghan McCain over years, I feel like maybe she's trying to seek revenge on Whoopi, low key, you know, and have someone else do it. Okay, so allegedly, that's how I mean, I could be wrong, but you know, journalist and writer Eve Barlow. Now, she was on The View as well, right? When she promoted her book, The Israeli Woman, who recently penned a scathing Substack column on why Whoopi's comments were so harmful, told DailyMail.com that Whoopi's past comments on the subject and her flip-flopping on whether or not she's actually Jewish is disgustingly appropriated. As for Whoopi Goldberg's genealogy, I don't have access to her 23andMe. I don't know. But what I would cast suspicion on is whether or not this was the truth or if it was an extension of an established lie where she posts that she is Jewish. If it was someone else appropriating another culture, we would call it out immediately, but the Jews don't seem to count as much. That is what we are seeing here. It is absurd and it is a double standard. I disagree. I mean, on that, of course. She poured cold water on Whoopi's agent's justification for the recipe that she is Jewish, calling it a bogus misnomer. Whoopi has told in the past of choosing her stage name in Goldberg's because her mother thought it would get further in Hollywood. Barlow says that also plays into the anti-Semitic trope that Jews run Hollywood and only gives jobs to each other. We know the story of the origin of Whoopi Goldberg's surname. She had ingested this very popular idea among people who come from the school of thought of Louis Farrakhan and the Black Hebrew Israelites that the Jews run Hollywood. She's changed her name in Goldberg's because she thought it would open more doors for her in Hollywood. Barlow added, she does not believe Whoopi should be fired and does not subscribe to cancel culture, but is eager to see how The View fills its show over the next 2 weeks and once Whoopi returns, if she does. Of course, ABC declined to comment on Whoopi's remarks or the recipe. Whoopi and her apology on it. Okay, so these are the two people that we're talking, okay? Israeli actress and activist Noah Tishby on the left and Eva Barlow on the right. These two people are both associated with Meghan McCain. And of course, as you guys know, Meghan McCain also works for the Daily Mail. I mean, you got three people talking on the Daily Mail. And you got this woman who wrote the piece called Jennifer, and they're all just digging. They're digging in her past. It says a source close to her this week pointed out some of her past acts of alliance, like in 2018 when she disavowed the neo-Nazi responsible for the Pittsburgh synagogue shooting on The View. When did it become the norm for us to be afraid to go and worship? And another episode of View has moderated segments focused on Holocaust education and interviewed Holocaust survivors about their experiences. In 2017, she interviewed a reformed neo-Nazi who credited his Jewish boss with changing his views. Whoopi on Tuesday said she was wrong to have said that the Holocaust is not about race. She was placed on an unpaid 2-week suspension as punishment for the comments. Okay, I'm just trying to see what else, if they're saying anything new, which I don't think they're new. These are, okay, that's basically it. So, y'all, they gonna keep digging and digging and digging about Whoopi Goldberg. I, for one, of course, I don't think she's Jewish. Number two, it's pretty evident that, you know, her last name was Goldberg because it has to do with Jewish affiliation. A lot of people are like, well, she doesn't need The View. She has other projects. Well, the question is this: will this ruin? Because a lot of people are also affiliated with Roseanne. They're like, well, Roseanne got canceled for her comments. Gina Carano got canceled for her comments, which was apparently, they were saying, lighter than Whoopi's comments. And they're like, well, why hasn't Whoopi been canceled for her comments? So the question remains, will this ruin Whoopi Goldberg's career? Will it ruin it or not? You know, yes, she has other projects, but will this cause her not to work again? That's what the question remains, and that's what the question is. And Kim Godwin, like I said, is not playing. Kim Godwin, the president of ABC, has a job to do, and her job is to change the culture of ABC. And a lot of people are blaming her, like I said yesterday, for Whoopi's suspension. But you guys got to understand that Kim Godwin has bosses that she has to attest to, and so 9 times out of 10, they all had a formal meeting and decided that it was best to suspend Whoopi after 2 weeks. Now, like I said, there's reports. There's reports out. Like I was just reading here, Daily Mail was basically saying that Whoopi's welcome to come back after her suspension, which I didn't like how they said that, because like Whoopi's welcome to come back, as if, you know, she hasn't been on that show for several years. But there's been reports that she's not going to come back. She wants to quit after suspension because she feels like that she abided by the protocols by going on Stephen Colbert, by apologizing on The View, and having the current guy for the Anti Defamation League on the show. And she thought that was enough, but apparently it wasn't. So she got suspended. So my question to you guys is her career over? Like, is it over? You know, because I personally feel like the media, like Daily Mail, is not going to stop. They're not. They really went ham on Wendy Williams. They're going to keep digging. They're going to keep digging into her past, into Whoopi's past. We all know they're great at digging into people's past. As I said, they went into Wendy Williams' past for the past over a year. They had a photographer literally outside of her studio, and these people are in the United Kingdom, they're in the UK, but they do a great job at digging for information. And I don't see this going away anytime soon. I feel like more things are going to come out about just Whoopi and her career. Does this make me look at Whoopi a little bit differently? Like more differently? It does, with the Goldberg's last name and the affiliation of it. It does. It kind of does. It's kind of like, man, I'm like, well, you know, because I always looked at her as a self-made woman. Not that she's not self-made, but I mean, you know, you're taking a last name of a group of people because you feel like, okay, well, it'll help you out in Hollywood. That kind of makes me, I hate to say it, but it kind of makes me look at her a little bit more differently, you know. But let me read y'all comments and see what you guys are saying. You can't hear me? What is my G? Hey, Ms. Banks. C notes, Ms. Banks. She took the name but didn't do the history. But you guys also have to understand throughout the years, it was like, I'm not Jewish, you know, I don't subscribe to man-made religion. Me personally, I feel like she's, of course, not Jewish. It's just pretty evident that she took the last name just because to appropriate, you know, the Jewish culture. That's it. Or to appropriate the stereotype that Jews like dominate the industry and you'll get jobs by having that last name. Do you just read out news articles? Well, I wanted to read it out on here today because I'm just tired of talking about this story and it was too much, but they're going to keep digging. Hey, Snoop, how are you? I'm sure you know some info. You know the 411. If you do, let me know. Whoopi should have been CIR. Don't know what that is. Did Roseanne apologize? I think she did, but she's still canceled. I hope not. No, it shouldn't. Whoopi should have been fired. She kicked the judge, Jeanine Pirro, from kicking her off the show and was swearing at her. It ain't over till God says it's over. Let me see. I can't see our comments. Hold on. Okay, so Linda says she got her first name after her farting. Yes, but we're talking about the last name. Let me say hi because I can't see below the belt. Okay. Come on. All right, I can't really see the below the belt. The comments below the belt. But yeah, so her question is her career going to flourish after she comes back? Because even Joy Behar was like, I don't even see her. According to sources, Joy Behar was saying, I don't see her coming back from this. I don't know why I can see your comments, but the chat is not going all the way down for some reason. Oh, that's nice. But Snoop, you also used to tell me the 411, like you have family or friends that work for ABC. You didn't hear nothing behind the scenes? Of course, like the host, they miss her a lot. They miss her very much. And they're very disappointed that she was suspended, and I believe it's without pay. And of course, according to sources, she's making $5 million a year. So if that's without pay, if you do the math, sources say that's $192,000 in 2 weeks. So like that's the question. That's the question. Will her career last? Will it last after this, after the 2 weeks, or will she even come back on the show? Super chats are appreciated. Thank you yesterday for the super chats. Y'all saw me. I really do appreciate it. Let's see if I can go on my phone and see if I can read your comments that way because it's not on. I also noticed today on The View that they're walking on eggshells. Like I noticed, like I watched, because I didn't watch The View for the past 2 days. And when I watched the clips today, I noticed that Joy Behar was really careful with how she was talking about the stories. Like one of the stories, she said she's not an expert. It's really evident that they're being careful now, as opposed to before. They said anything that they wanted to say on the show. People at ABC, they were pissed off because they were like, why wasn't Whoopi reprimanded earlier? Ever since Barbara Walters left the show in 2014, it was like they can do anything they wanted to do. Ami says Whoopi's rich. Okay. I stopped taking Whoopi seriously when she defended Polanski and Mel Gibson. Also those things are in effect about when Don Jr. was on the show and he reminded everybody what Whoopi said back in the day about, it's like, it's not rape, so that's another thing. This is my Instagram, JOA_media, if you want to follow me on Instagram. So there's, it's a lot of situations that's happening. Balin Vazel says, I don't think Joe said that she will be back, but the other girls, who's Joe, on the panel will have more power. I don't think Joy said that she'll be back, but the other girls on the panel will have more power. Snoop says they really are upset backstage about her suspension. Yeah, that's pretty evident. Everybody can tell that just by going on her Instagram or going on her Twitter and seeing what they're tweeting or retweeting. You can pretty much know that they're upset, by her suspension. So let's see. If anybody want to send a super chat, because I got a lot of questions about how to do it. This is the chat. Hold on. Damn it. Let's see. Okay, you see the chat right here? And then the $ is right there on the other side. You click on the $ at the bottom. My bottom right, your bottom left. You click on that, and then you click on super chat, and then it's going to ask you like how much you want to send. Use the little blue toggle bar. You see the little bar? See how I changed it to $1, the little bar? And then you can change it to whatever. Change it back to 5 or more, whatever. And you click buy and send. All right. That's how you do it. Okay. Ame Bay says Whoopi don't need to come back. She has a publicist. Well, everybody can get a publicist. It's not that hard to get you a publicist. Everybody has that. But yeah, that's the whole situation on that. So I don't know. Like, I'm glad that there's going to be a change on the show. Like, I even noticed when they were talking about Jeff Zucker from CNN, I watched the clip on it today. I'm like, they didn't do vast research or extensive research on there. Only Tara Setmeyer mentioned Andrew Cuomo, but they did not mention that Andrew Gaulis used to work for Andrew Cuomo. She used to work under him, right? And so that creates a conflict of interest. And I'm like, this is an important story that y'all need to tell. And it seemed like Joy Behar was defending Jeff Zucker. She was like, well, it's a consensual relationship. It's not a Me Too relationship. Well, no, they need to do their research. They need to do more research, because Alison Gullis was hired at NBC by Jeff Zucker when there was nothing to even hire her for. He hired her for a PR type of position when that position was already filled. So they need to do more research on this. And I think Kim Godwin, who's the president of ABC, they need to make sure, like, the hosts, when they talk about important stories, they need to know what they're talking about. They can't just half-ass the story, it's so I'm just like, I had tweeted Brian Tita. I'm like, I like this show and I like The View, but it's like they need to do more extensive research, because, this story is important. They're missing the part about it. It's pretty evident that her career flourished because she was dating a CNN president, while he was married, and she was married as well. So her career definitely flourished because of that. And it's also safe for me to assume that Katie Couric got her talk show because that talk show was affiliated with Jeff Zucker, because he helped her with that show. And Katie Couric was good friends with Jeff Zucker's ex-wife. At that time when Jeff Zucker was at NBC, Jeff Zucker and his wife and Alison Gullis and her husband, they both lived literally in the same apartment, building. And Katie Couric was friends with Jeff Zucker's now ex-wife. And so it's also apparent that Katie Couric's career probably flourished. Not to say she didn't work hard, but I mean, with the talk show that she had in 2012 that got canceled after 2 or 3 years, that was under Jeff Zucker. He helped her get that show. So yeah. Okay. And the woman who punched Book. Okay, Rosa Don said no one in show business treated her worse than Whoopi. Jenny McCarthy said Whoopi. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing that came up about the race situation. And I talked about this. I did a video on it, like Sarah, where Whoopi got in trouble about saying what she said on the show, and it's, she has a history of saying ignorant stuff, even towards African Americans, saying, well, it's not racist if you get followed in the store. She's like, it's ignorant. No, it's both ignorant and it's racist, So I mean, it's like, I'm very looking forward to see what's going to happen. It's pretty evident that the hosts on the show, they're walking on eggshells, because now they're scared to say what they, it's like, well, the culture is shifting back to where it was when Barbara was there, which is good, because it's like, I've expressed my disdain for that show when they talked about Kyle Rittenhouse, or today when I watched them talk about the whole Jeff Zucker situation. I'm like, they didn't do their research. They didn't dig enough. Or Joy Behar basically seeming like it's like, well, people date in the workplace all the time. Yeah, that's true. But when you are the president of a network, I mean, there should be a policy in place in the HR book that more than likely says that you're not supposed to date your subordinate, right? She was below him, right? Like, Jeff Zucker was the boss and she was the subordinate. She was below him. That is her boss, Jeff, and they were dating. And so that's a conflict of interest. And it's a huge conflict of interest because there's a guy, Chris Cuomo, who's at CNN, whose brother had this huge scandal. And then you have a woman who's dating the president at CNN, who also worked for Chris Cuomo's brother, which, a lot of people at CNN, they're wondering now, well, was this the reason why Chris Cuomo's firing was elongated? Is this the reason why it was pushed back further? Is this the reason why he wasn't reprimanded at first? Like, that's just crazy. This is why people don't really, they don't trust media anymore because of that. They look at podcasters now. They look at Joe Rogan and, it's like, the media has one narrative. It's partisan narrative, and it's not right. It's not right to have partisan narrative. can't see her comments for some reason. Let me go on YouTube. So let's see. Dale, that's not nice. Hey, Square. So that's the question now. I mean, information has been out about her past. If they're gonna, like I said, Daily Mail is gonna continuously dig and dig and dig until they keep finding more information about Whoopi. They're not gonna stop. There's definitely gonna be a major shift on that show. And I can understand that African Americans are pissed off because they're like, they couldn't wait until after the Black History Month. Okay, Jean says, question is, after Meghan McCain was able to say whatever she wanted to say, how does she get? Okay, that's a question that keeps being asked, and I already talked about it so many times. So you got to understand that throughout Meghan McCain's tenure, for the most part, on the show, James Goldstone was the president, not Kim Godwin. There were reports that he didn't want to. There were reports that he didn't want to reprimand her because of conservative backlash. Now, when Kim Godwin got into office, they had a Zoom meeting. I don't know if you remember when they had a Zoom meeting and Meghan McCain hung up on the Zoom meeting and ran out because she felt like she was being targeted. So you got to understand, between Kim Godwin being hired literally like late last year to Meghan McCain's being to Meghan McCain leaving the show, it really wasn't that long. It really wasn't. And so I understand where people are coming from, because Meghan McCain has made comments that there are a lot of people kind of like, did she really say that? You know, so I get it. Like I said, I get it, but you can't blame Kim Godwin when she literally just got into the job not too long after Meghan McCain ended up leaving. You know, so that's the situation on that. But y'all keep asking, those questions. I don't want my stream. It's not letting me go down. I gotta use my phone. 85 people watching. Oh, you missed it yesterday. So many more people was watching. Because I'm coming on early, it's a hot topic. So, but yeah. So that's the question. Will she be fired? If she gets fired, who will take over? Joy Behar's leaving at the end of the season. You know what they're gonna do. The View fans, they're protesting. Literally each video that you watch, they're like, "Where's Whoopi? Bring her back. We're not watching." So if Whoopi decides to leave, I think they're definitely going to lose a lot of ratings. So yeah, that's the whole situation. I just wanted to come on here and read the whole Daily Mail story because it was too long. I was like, I'm not about to make a video about this. I'm about to just come on here and talk to y'all about it. Let me see. I'm trying to look at their comments to see if I see anybody commenting. Where's Whoopi? Okay. All right. Oh, they talked about the Uyghurs today. Okay. All right. But anyways, y'all, anybody think her career is over? Because I really don't have much else to say besides that. Let's see. But like I said, I get where people's coming from. I don't understand a lot of things. I don't understand a lot of things, but I think that Whoopi should not get fired, or Roseanne Barr. Everyone makes mistakes, and I guess that's Hollywood. Yeah, so it's unfortunate. I hope she comes back and she stays. I hope she doesn't leave. but at the same time, I'm sure she learned her lesson. Because I feel like all the time when I watch the show, it's her say over all the other hosts, and she definitely did that when she made that comment, and the hosts really tried to like stop her, but she just kept going and going and going. So but I thank y'all yesterday. Y'all really made me feel better because I was in a good mood yesterday. But yeah, we're gonna see what's gonna happen. We're just gonna see what's gonna happen in the future, and then I'm gonna keep my eyes on the story and see what happens and let y'all know about what's gonna go on. But y'all a little quiet today. Yesterday y'all wasn't quiet. Yesterday I was like exhausted reading all the comments. Today I'm not getting so much comments, about Whoopi, but you know, yesterday's stream was really fun. But anyways, that's the whole situation on that. Thank you guys for watching. Since nobody's really talking, I'm gonna pay attention to the story and let y'all know. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd really appreciate if you subscribe and click the bell. As well as if you haven't followed me on Instagram, JOA_media is my Instagram page. Hold on. All right, let me show y'all my Instagram 1 second. Share screen. This is my Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, JOA_media. I really appreciate it. How are you doing today? I'm doing okay. How are you? It's another day. I feel like the day just goes by quick. It's really cold here in the South. It's like 30 degrees. It's so cold. Thank you for asking. How are you? Okay, so is it or not ask, why should Black people know about the Holocaust? I do believe Jews may know about slavery. Well, because it's an important part of history, you know? It's important about history. I mean, it's taught in like virtually every public school, right? Yeah, that's my Instagram. I appreciate you following me there, JOA_media. Yesterday's stream was really fun. And did you hear about the Jordan? I mean, I saw a video montage about it, Squill, of course, and I talked about it in the past. Like, I saw a video montage. I would actually like to see the whole clip of the video as opposed to people just posting montages. No, I'm not saying that. Is it or not? You asked the question. You said, why should Black people know about the Holocaust? I do believe Jews may know about slavery. Both are important because it's a part of history. So, all right, y'all. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Let's all pray that Whoopi gets better and, show